now 5:30 in the morning, and I'm making my way to the station to try and get to the first train to Kurihama Beach, which is where the power plant I'm going to see is located. Early day, hopefully gonna be a fun day. Hopefully that truck didn't mess with the audio. I'm actually a little surprised how busy it is. There are a bunch of people walking out as I was walking up, but the platform is still pretty sparsely populated for the train I'm heading on, here to Kurihama, which is a small town about an hour's drive south of Tokyo. I am here to shoot some video for my energy lecture. There's a power plant that's built here that only went up last year. Also, I love these polar bear vending machines they had around town. See that mountain in the distance? I'm gonna climb that. Didn't know it then, though. So I spotted something on the map while I was looking for places to shoot parts for my lecture. This isn't it, but this is a cool thing I had to pass along the way. I've had to hike up a mountain, but at least you get this pretty cool view of the city. Now, what I climbed up the mountain for should be right over there. It's a lot bigger than I expected it would be when I read Godzilla slide on the map, but it is a Godzilla-sized slide, that's for sure. I believe it has something to do with Godzilla Returns. My Google Translate isn't working, so I can't read the signs, but there's a big one in English that says Godzilla Returns 1999. Get a close-in look. It's very detailed. Didn't expect to find this today. Actually pretty lucky that it did rain out Friday morning, because I probably wouldn't have stopped to find something like this in the middle of a rainstorm. I like this shot with like the power lines in the background and the vending machine. Also, you can get a pretty good idea of the scale of it. It's probably like 20-25 feet tall. It's pretty big. Bye, Godzilla. Also, walking back down the mountain, I saw this sign for the flower garden that we saw at the start of the video. And if you pan over here, what's that? It's the power plant I came here to get a good shot of. And it's a great shot. I wouldn't have gotten it if it wasn't for Godzilla. This power plant actually opened in December of last year, which is wild considering how fast most places are closing their coal-fired power plants. But Japan had to keep theirs open after taking a lot of their nuclear offline after Fukushima. Also, I was finally able to see some cherry blossoms. This is the only tree in the whole area that's blooming, so pretty lucky to have seen it. Again, this is at the end of the Godzilla path. I never would have found this tree otherwise. Thanks, Godzilla. Also, I was wrong. There's other cherry blossoms just down the path. You can actually see them in the background of the last shot. I just didn't notice. It is kind of wild because this is only an hour south of Yokohama Park where I was yesterday, and nothing was blooming, and here they are in bloom. This is Kurihama Beach, where I was planning on shooting part of my lecture before I found that great overlook. I think it worked out pretty well because this is what it would have looked like. Also, the wind down by there is really bad. Next up, I went to Yokohama Zoo. It's in Yokohama on the way back to Tokyo. It's actually a free zoo, so that's pretty cool. Saw this huge crowd. I wonder what they could be gathering around. It's the red pandas, of course. This is one of the big things I came here to see is a Japanese Tanuki or a raccoon dog. There are actually no Tanukis in US zoos, so it's pretty cool that I got to see one. I've always wanted to see one. They're really popular in Japanese lore, and they pop up in anime all the time. Another animal that's not in a lot of US zoos is this lion. Now, lions are pretty common, but this is an Asian or an Indian lion, which are actually pretty rare in US zoos. And I also stopped to see the giraffes. This one's munching on looks like some branches. This bear was playing with its enrichment. It got some out and it just kind of scattered on the floor and was going there to lick it up. And this zoo also had guinea pigs. Look at those guinea pigs chomping down on that hay. This is Akihabara, which is the anime, gaming, and pop culture headquarters of Tokyo. It's pretty cool. On Sundays from 1 to 5, they shut down the big street in the middle of Akihabara, so people can just kind of like walk down the middle of it. So that's pretty cool. This area is littered with a bunch of anime stores, but the place I was most looking forward to going was here, the Akiba Culture Zone. and specifically to this store called A-Stop, which is a giant used figure store with cases and cases full of used figures. Now what you do here is you get this little slip of paper and you go to the figure and write down the case and the number, and then you bring that to the cash register, tell them what you want to buy. My plan was to try and find stuff that was rare but in like the right kind of price range. See, each one of these cases is actually owned by an individual, so some of the prices can be a bit gougy. Like these two figures, they're $30 figures and they're charging $130 for them. But you could also find some good deals. Like you look at some of these figures, like that Bochi figure, that's probably the cheapest you can find it. This Natsume figure here on the right, I actually paid half as much for that at the store in Middletown. And that also factors in like the cost to ship it, and now you have to make a profit. But some other Natsume stuff was pretty fairly priced, and I actually got something from this lower case. Try and guess what it is. So coming back from Akihabara, I ended up getting on the wrong train on a transfer, ended up here. I don't know where this is. This is 30 minutes past where I was supposed to get off. It's called Tsurumi in Yokohama. It actually worked out kind of well because there was a JR ticket office there and I had to get my ticket for my train to Fukushima on Tuesday. Also, there was a curry restaurant right across the street, and I've been craving curry since I got here. This was actually really good, and as you can see, it did not last long. And that is the day. Pretty exhausting day overall. I don't know if it was getting up at 5 a.m. on 4 hours of sleep or climbing all the mountains that I did, like not expecting to find the Godzilla at the top of a mountain. Going to the Nogayama Zoo, it really put the Yama in its name because you had to like climb up one hill, back down, back up, and then leaving. I went down too early, so I had to climb back up before going back down to get to the station, and it just kind of wore me out a bit. Um, I did have plans to try and go to Odaiba prior to getting lost, prior to getting on the wrong train and realizing that I was like almost to Yokohama before I realized like this probably isn't the right train I was supposed to be on. But it worked out. Still had fun finding that little Suru ward. Still fun. I thought about doing like a merch breakdown of what I got in Akihabara, but the stuff's like tightly wrapped, and I don't want to like unwrap it, and I don't think I have access to tape. I can show this. It's a little panda in his house from the Nogayama Zoo. That's pretty cute. Um, Other than that, I got a lot of work done for my. I'm starting to shake a little bit. A lot of work done for the lecture I'm supposed to give. Um, I'm really happy with all the cool stuff I found in Kurihama. That was really unexpected, but one of my favorite parts of the trip so far is finding all that neat stuff in Kurihama. Um, what else is there to say? Tomorrow's going to be a big day. Tomorrow there's a lot of scheduled stuff. One thing I haven't been super great at is keeping to a tight schedule. I've been getting a lot of stuff in, just not keeping to a super tight schedule. So let's see how tomorrow gets when I need to be certain places at certain times. But, till then, see everybody tomorrow.